Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Before we get started, I just wanted to apologize for any background noises, chair scraping sounds, loud Asian parent voices, and possibly my husky howling, because that's just my life. Anyway, if you couldn't tell from the title, this is a plan with me video for the month of August, which I'm doing in my new journal, which is pretty exciting because it's so cute. It's the Scribbles That Matter journal in the iconic version, if anyone's wondering. So jumping right in, the theme for this month is Tomb Raider, specifically the 2013 reboot, which is my absolute all-time, no questions asked, favorite video game ever. I was gonna do something kind of cutesy and more generic, but I really wanted this journal to be about kicking ass and just badass female characters and kind of motivating me to be more badass. And this game is kind of symbolic of that. Is that a word? Maybe. Symbolic, I think. I don't know. English is my third language, okay? But you know, this new Lara Croft, she's kind of a normal girl, and a lot of us can really relate to her more than the traditional classic Lara. But you know, under extraordinary circumstances, she realizes that she herself is extraordinary. She finds out that she's a lot stronger and more capable than she ever thought she was. So I really love that message, and also the opening line, which is actually in my opening spread of the entire journal, which I will show in another video, which is the extraordinary is in what we do, not who we are. And I thought that's just a great message, and I kind of wanted to go with that with this theme as well. So I've got her iconic weapons in this spread, which is the climbing axe and her arrows. So this Lara doesn't have well, she does eventually get, handguns and stuff. But her, if you're to think of this new Lara Croft, it's definitely archery and it's definitely the climbing axe. So that's why I chose that for this page. And I also threw in a little sun motif because in the game there is a cult called the Solari, and they worship the ancient Japanese sun queen Himiko. So yeah, threw in a bit of metallics in there. I will link these, or I will point out what these pens are in the description, because I just find that they write so smooth and I really like using them, so I had to find a reason to throw them in. But yeah, gold for the sun and then silver for the blades and arrowheads. The next page is pretty, it's pretty simple. It's just a calendar. The only thing I guess I would point out is that it's kind of a very narrow and slender calendar. I wanted to keep this to one page, and I wanted to keep it in portrait orientation because everything else is in portrait, and to switch suddenly to landscape for me just doesn't flow. It's weird composition, so I wanted to keep it vertical like this. And even though these squares, which are 3 by 5 for each day, are a little bit narrow, it works fine for me because I don't really use a calendar that much for planning. I just use it kind of to reference quickly. I will throw in any significant birthdays or events, but I don't usually have that much that I will need to remember ahead of time within a month that I'll need to have a huge calendar spread and write everything down. So this is the size that works for me. And you can't really see what I'm doing now, although you can see my hair peep in because I did forget to tie up my hair while I was recording. I'm actually throwing in some boxes. Oh, there we go. At the bottom, where I'm just gonna put my monthly goals and tasks. And I kept these really small because in the past I found that I never really needed that much space. I'm trying to limit myself to trying to achieve one goal per month, 1 or 2 at most, just to make sure I'm not overwhelming myself. And for tasks, I usually can't think of anything too much ahead of time, so I don't really need anything at the beginning of the month. But anyway, we're already on the next spread. These spreads are kind of the most important to me. They're kind of the reason why I wanted to go back into bullet journaling after stopping for about a year. It's my mood and sleep tracker because I've been in this multi-month slump, emotionally, motivationally, creatively. Like, I've just been kind of down. And it's nothing serious, I don't think. But, you know, I'm just trying to, like, crawl my way back up. And I found tracking it, firstly, just tracking is kind of therapeutic. But also I want to be able to see where I'm at, how I'm doing, if there's anything I can change, if anything that I did change has helped. I want to be able to see that. So instead of doing one of those like gorgeous but complicated and often kind of confusing looking spreads where like you've seen those mood trackers where, you know, every petal represents a day and you color it in based off of your mood. I don't want to do that because for me, that's difficult to read at a glance. I don't want to look back at a legend to know what I'm feeling, and I want to be able to see trends and stuff. So I just went back to basics and made a graph. Yes, graph, like in math. You gotta admit that it does, you know, have its uses. So all I did was I just did like 1 to 10 for mood on the x-axis, and then the hours of sleep for the sleep tracker, and then the days of the month on the y-axis. And basically when I plot this out, it just ends up looking like a line graph. So it's easy to see, it's easy to read. And then next I have the habit tracker, which is kind of similar in that I want to be able to see how I'm doing at a glance. So I'm using the like pixel kind of method where I just put the days of the month in the y-axis and then the like habits in each square, or actually I use 2 squares because I'm doing it like vertically like that. So for each day that I complete a particular habit, I will just fill it in and I can see, you know, like, you know, if I'm keeping on track, if some habits need work, such as not eating any junk, which was really bad last month. But again, easy to see at a glance. And then this spread may not be helpful for some of you guys, but if you've got like an Instagram or YouTube or whatever that you're trying to grow, I kind of like seeing like the before and after of each month. So basically what I'm doing is I've got like, you know, what my numbers are at the beginning of the month, because I have a whole bunch of projects that I'm trying to track. And then at the end of the month as well. So I just put those kind of like as columns, and then for each row is the actual project that I'm tracking. And in those black rectangles, I will actually put like August 1st in the left one and then August 31st in the right one, but for now they're just not there. At the bottom, I wanted to fill in the space, so I threw in this mountain doodle, which actually ended up fitting the theme, because like mountain, climb, growth, you know, kind of like that Miley Cyrus song way back in the day. But it also suits with the whole Tomb Raider thing because mountains are a thing in the game, in both the 2013 and the Rise of the Tomb Raider games. So it fit and it filled in the space, and I like how it looks. And then finally, I added in the sketch I did of Lara Croft, which has a pretty, I would say it's an iconic quote. I don't know, it's a pretty badass moment in the game. And this kind of sets the whole theme, I think, of the journal. So for my weekly spreads, I'm actually doing a Dutch door format, which I'll get into kind of, you know, when a little bit more is filled in. But for the left side, I just wanted to throw in this doodle of a stone Japanese lantern. Because in the 2013 game, it does take place in Japan, and there's a lot of these Japanese ruins, and also lanterns. And it also reminds me of the Fatal Frame games, which I also loved. They're a Japanese horror series, and I don't know, I guess like I really love creepy ghost stories more than like gore and like visceral horror. So Japanese ghost stories clearly appeal to me a lot, and that's a lot of what the setting of Tomb Raider game reminded me of, which is another reason why I love it. But this is also like the Japanese lantern is kind of a little creepy, because they're also seen in a lot of graveyards and cemeteries. So yeah, I'm a morbid kind of person, to be totally honest. So for each day is actually just a long column. Each column is 8 squares wide. Again, I'm using a vertical theme, and this is like, I mean, you could do more of a wider horizontal format for a weekly spread, but the way I bullet journal is I list things, like all my tasks, events, even like any kind of actual journaling like writing, I do it in list format, so doing it vertically makes the most sense to me. So I'm just gonna do this throughout the week, but basically the gray square, which is 2 by 2, is gonna be where the number goes, and then the black rectangle, which is 2 by 4, is where the day of the week goes. So yeah, nothing too special here. I'm just lining everything and doing it all for the entire week. I used this format last month for the last couple weeks, and I actually really found it useful, so that's why I'm doing it again for this month. But yeah, so I'm using a white gel pen. I did try using the silver gel pen for last week, but it just didn't look quite as contrasty, so that's why I went with the white. But I kind of like having like that colored background or really dark background and then the white gel pen for the text. I think it makes it stand out a lot. And if you guys want more like header or date ideas, I actually do have a video which will be linked somewhere, probably in that little card thing up top. If you guys are looking for more ideas, if the whole boxy thing isn't your thing, I've got a couple other themes that you can try for both your spread titles and also your dates. Also, I'm sorry for the constant clanging that's coming from downstairs. I think my mom's like chopping something. But anyway, I was going to talk about the Dutch door format, which is basically where I cut out that middle page, just like the, I guess, outer side, so that I kind of get a peekaboo of both the that left section on the first page and the right section on the very last page. So I can see both, my weekly goals and also my weekly tracker all in one glance without having to flip the pages back and forth. So you don't really see that yet, but here I'm laying out that last page and you'll see what I'm talking about eventually. In this last part, I'm putting in the weekly trackers so that you can see them when I actually cut out that little bit in the middle page. And I'm doing basically the same thing as the sleep and mood tracker that I had at the beginning of the monthly spread, except I'm tracking my sleep, my hours exercise, or my minutes exercised, and also my mood for each day of the week. So it's gonna look like a line graph again. And yeah, so I keep flipping back and forth because I couldn't remember what day of the week I was writing. So here I am, I'm just taking my book away to cut the page, and I went back to do a little bit of shading and coloring in the handle of the climbing axe because I remembered that the handle was black. I actually, I can't remember if I already said this, but I'm gonna color in the axe as red. And yeah, that's pretty much my, oops, flipped too far, my monthly spreads for the month of August. We have the growth tracker, my sketch, which I'm going to try to do every month, and then my Dutch door, so you can see where I can see both the first and last page without having to flip that page at all. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys found this enjoyable or helpful, and maybe you got some ideas from this. If you did like this and found it helpful, I guess, give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you can see right away when I upload my next video. If you are looking for a review on the journal that I'm starting in, the Scribbles That Matter, please also let me know in the comments. And if there's anything else you guys want to see, I don't know, give a shout out in the comments. And thank you for watching. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!